Hello, beautiful souls. This is Oda, and I just thought I'd drop in. Just this is really spontaneous, but to wish you a happy Halloween season. Halloween is traditionally it's called Samhain in the Celtic tradition, and it's the cross quarter point of the year. So it's celebrating when we're going into the darkest quarter of the year, right? When the light is waning and there's more dark than light, and so we're looking at this darkness versus light, and this is a theme that I've been exploring over the last couple months, I think. And it's been actually really enlightening to go into the darkness, and I think that's kind of what I want to bring forward here. Hi, Marvita, how are you? Um, is that sometimes it can get really feel really heavy, right? To explore the shadow side, to explore the dark side, which is actually what this time of year and all the celebrations are about, largely. But it doesn't need to feel heavy. And I think if we think of it in terms of life being art, right? We are all creators of our own lives. We are all the artists of our lives. And artists work with light and dark, right? And so if you think of any piece of artwork as being made up of light and dark, it makes it a little easier to understand in our lives. The dark, or even in a piece of art, the dark is where the light is absent, right? So it's simply a hidden place, right? Where there's information there that is hidden that we cannot see, right? And so if we start to understand it in that way, um, this is a time of year where we are also celebrating the ancestors and those who have passed. So we're working with time, and bear with me because this all comes around in a circle. You'll see how it's connected. We're working with time and we're working with knowledge, right? And so when we're working with ancestors, they are the ones who have been there before us, who have experienced, and who can lead us to understand those parts of ourselves that maybe we aren't clear about, that have been hidden, that have been forgotten, right? So it's a process of remembering, learning to know yourself, and bringing knowledge, bringing understanding into kind of those aspects of yourself. And as we create our lives, it's a process of expansion into the void, right? Into the unknown that has not yet been explored, right? And remember that we have kind of like other selves that exist, because eternal time, right? Everything's happening at once. We can tap into those future selves of ours to help us to clarify and expand. And so there's been a lot of people that I've spoken with recently have felt kind of like a heaviness recently, and part of that is just this hiddenness that people have been kind of struggling with, and trying to bring light into. And kind of what struck me as just a way to really clarify is, first of all, that light is knowledge, right? Knowledge of self, know thyself. It's one of the basic tenets, right, of learning to go, finding enlightenment. And then if knowledge that is intentionally ignored is ignorance, right? Ignorance, to ignore knowledge, right? And so what is referred to as evil, it is just pure, straight up ignorance. And if we understand it in that way, then it becomes much easier to face our shadow side without fear, okay? Because there's a lot of ancestral beliefs in there's a lot of shame and guilt and fear built around the shadow side, and that's something that I think we're all working through. But if we can understand that it's just ignorance, and when we start to bring the light of knowledge into it, it helps to illuminate those and to transcend that ignorance and shift it back into enlightenment. So, just an encouragement that this is a time of year that can be really, really powerful. That seasonally, if we work with the seasons, it is a beautiful time to go within and to not be afraid to shine the light, to start looking at those parts of ourselves and parts of our culture that maybe are scary to look at, right? And because remember with the Halloween, with the masks, the scary masks and stuff, that is just a very symbolic of this whole process of it's scary to look at those untruths, those illusions. But when we start to really shine the light on it and realize, oh, it's simply an illusion, it's simply kind of an ignorance, and we see that each person is a beautiful aspect of the divine, that the truth of it is that we each have this divine light, that we're part of the one. Then we can start standing in that truth and holding that truth like a lantern up, holding and shining light into those dark corners. And just to close here, I just wanted to share this really cool thing that happened to me this morning. Last spring, we got a bunch of little chicks, got a little laying flock, and they were little baby chicks, and they're kind of grown up now. And this morning, I went to the coop, and I found for the first time the first two little eggs in the coop. And these are little pullet eggs, they're 2 inches each. Two eggs, 2 inches each. And that's the number like 22, which is this beautiful number. It's a master builder number. And it just came to me that this is like this beautiful symbolism of new life coming right at this dark point in the year that where we're ushering in the dark. And here's this promise of new life. And it's just, I loved it, and I thought I'd share it with you. So I hope that you have the most wonderful Halloween season. That is just enjoy it. Like there's no reason to fear the shadow. Just bring light into it, and I guess that's about it. Have a wonderful season, and we'll catch you again soon. Remember, you were born to be free.